Welcome, everybody. It's your boy, the Versace Stoner, with another episode of VSW. Thank you, everybody. This is great right now. This is great. Tonight we might have a very special guest for you. I'm not going to drop any names until they call in, but all I can say is it's going to be somebody special, shooting the shit with us, talking wrestling, and just enjoying some time with the Versace Stoner on air. I'm going to go and get some wax. What are we smoking on today? I'm smoking on Bride of Chucky. That's the name of the wax. Bride of Chucky. Out of Sarah Naturals. Great strain. Very great strain. Very fun. Like I said, sometimes we come on here very serious, talking wrestling seriously. Sometimes we come on here just to shoot the shit and have some fun. This is one of those times for fun. And, I offer the extension to open it up to guests. If somebody calls in, that will be great. I'm hoping so. Love to have people on air. Wrestlers, wrestling fans, whoever they are. Let's get them on the show. Let's get them talking. Let's get us talking. It's been a long road with people not being able to see each other, interact the right way with the pandemic and everything else. And here we go. Hello.
Hello.
What is up, Mikey Starks?
What's up, Versace Stoner?
We got you live on air tonight on the VSW podcast.
Of course.
So what is up with you?
I'm good. Just excited for Mania weekend.
Right, what's your most exciting moment? I mean, we got a huge lineup coming. You got NXT TakeOver, and then you got the Mania weekend itself. I mean, I don't know what's more exciting. Which pay-per-views are bigger?
I'm more excited for a TakeOver, to be honest, because the match cards are stacked. Not saying Mania's not stacked, but the build for TakeOver is a little bit more better than the build to Mania, in my opinion.
Right, I think so too, in my opinion. I mean, like I said, Mania is very stacked. It's got a good card. The build-up's been going on since January, but NXT, for some reason, just came out the blue with this 2-day show, and every match is just a banger.
Right, and it's like Karrion Kross versus Finn Balor. That's gonna bang because that's been built, and they've done relinquish their titles the same way. So it's story right there.
It is. It really is.
Then you got Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. That build, unsanctioned match right there, perfect. It's all good, but for Mania, they've been slacking with the Bianca versus Sasha. The tag team match wasn't needed at Fastlane. And then I feel like the triple threat for the Universal Championship is going to be a banger as well, because not only because Daniel Bryan's in it, but their past experience, all three of them, is all coming ahead, and everybody's gonna shine in that match, to be honest.
For sure. I think with all the wrestling, both shows, NXT TakeOver and the WrestleMania itself, I think it's going to really boil down not so much the talent. The talent's there. We know the talent's there. All the talent is capable. It's going to boil down to the storytelling. As you mentioned, some of those NXT matches, the storylines are there. You got that Karrion Kross storyline. You got that Kyle O'Reilly storyline with the betrayal. You have all these deep storylines. Yeah, we have that on the main roster too, but I mean, like you said, the storyline really is Bianca Belair won the Rumble. She most likely will win the Women's Championship. I mean, I would like to see it. I think a lot of other fans want to see it.
Yeah, I would love to see it, but it's the build between their match is not there.
It's not as big as they built last year's Rhea Ripley against
Charlotte.
It's definitely not as big as they built that up, I feel.
Look about Rhea. She came in with Oscar and was like, I want you at Mania, basically. And she accepted, and like the whole Twitter went uproar about it. Like, and I'm just like, y'all wanted new people. Mind you, Oscar already beat half of the whole roster. So the only person that's brand new there is Rhea. She never beat Rhea, so it's only right.
But you know what? No matter what matches get named, no matter who jumps into the limelight, the Twitter fans are always going to be upset about something. If it's not their favorite in there, they're always mad.
Tell me about it. I had some arguments the other day about the whole Daniel Bryan being added to the triple threat. To the main event at Mania. Like, it's alright. Like, he's not going to ruin it. It's just made it more watchable.
First of all, exactly. What people don't understand about Daniel Bryan entering this main event is he's not there to steal the shine light. He's not there to steal the thunder. He's there to put somebody over, and it's there to save face for somebody else. So either Edge or Roman don't have to take that pin and look bad at Mania.
Yeah. Like, what I'm thinking is basically Daniel Bryan is there to take the pin and also to put over Edge. Because if Edge pins Daniel and Roman loses the title, it could also build Edge versus Roman like in another time, because Roman could just come back and be like, I was never pinned. And
exactly. Roman can also come back strong at SummerSlam, give Edge one more title run, that he deserves. He does definitely deserve it, with his time off and his comeback that he made. He's been doing great, the Rumble, everything. Right. I'm not against giving, him one more title reign in his career.
It's a redemption story. Like, he done retired, had to relinquish his title, and now he came back, Royal Rumble 2020, then entered at number one, Royal Rumble 2021, and won it from that spot.
And don't forget, he also has some banger matches with Randy Orton in 2020.
I like the matches, but they pushed that too hard, too much.
They did. They really pushed it. I looked at it as more of a joke, as they really pushed that one that was the greatest match ever. I took that as a joke and not really serious.
Yeah, I didn't either, but I was just like, okay, we done saw this already, so, why is the storyline going?
But Edge held his own, and he was able to put on the matches. He was able to put on as long as matches he needs to do, and that's great for his age and shape. A lot of wrestlers can't. A lot of wrestlers have to either do, 15-minute matches or they're stuck in a tag team match.
Mm-hmm.
At his age. And then you got, I'm really excited. I think my whole excitement, the biggest match that I'm excited for the whole shebang is going to be that Karrion Kross versus Finn Balor match.
Yeah, I think just with mine for the whole weekend, my biggest match that I'm really excited for is Karrion Kross and Balor, and Sasha versus Bianca, because I feel like they have the sass, they both are sassy as hell. So it's gonna be very competitive, and I feel like it's gonna bring a lot out of Sasha, and it's gonna bring more spotlight on Bianca. And for Finn Balor and Karrion Kross, Finn Balor's gonna go ham, and Karrion Kross is just gonna try to decimate Finn Balor, and I feel like Finn Balor might actually lose this match. Just saying.
If it does happen, I'm fine with that. Karrion Kross deserves that title again. He had to relinquish under some kind of circumstance that was out of his control. But I'll never forget that takeover, the end. You just see the flames, him and Scarlett, him with the title was the perfect ending to that. He had that perfect moment, and it was kind of just taken from him.
Yeah.
And you're right about that, Sasha. That is going to bring out, I think it's going to bring out a little bit of the hood in Sasha. She has that in her. She definitely does. You can see it on her indie scene wrestling. I think it's going to bring out that rawness in her that, she didn't really have against Bayley.
Yeah, and another thing, Bayley, nobody knows what she's going to be doing Mania weekend. I feel like they should just team her and Carmella up and have them go for the tag titles, because it makes sense, because it was once Baymella, and they need something to do since they just backstage.
That'd be a great idea, as that tag division seems to kind of be all over the place. Not
Right.
really any real tag teams, just superstars thrown together as tags. Ever since I think like the Iconics broke up, there hasn't been a real
Stupid decision
female
by
tag team.
creative. Stupid decision from creative. There was no need to break up the Iconics. Let's now look. Billie Kay is basically a joke, and Peyton Royce is trying to find her way through as a singles person, and it's not working for her. It's getting her over, but it's not really getting her over, if you get what I'm saying.
Exactly, and they've broken up a lot of good female teams. They broke up the Riot Squad. They basically destroyed Nikki Cross's character. She was great on NXT.
Now she's just like a jobber.
Yeah, pretty much. We had other tag team females, but obviously the Bellas retired. But you don't really have made teams like you do for the men's division. You don't have,
same thing for the men's division. It's not really teams at all.
No, outside of the Street Profits and like maybe the Viking Raiders and a few others that you have out there floating around there, it's all makeshift teams. Two people thrown together.
In my opinion, I feel like they should have kept Aleister Black and Ricochet together as a tag team. To be honest, because it worked for both of them. Because now look, both of them is nowhere to be found. They just in catering.
Exactly, and they were both great on NXT. They were both at the top of their game. Aleister Black and Ricochet. He was supposed to be the next biggest thing, and like you said, where is he now? But when they came in, at least with tagging, at least we had something to look forward to. They shined with each other, and they brought something to the table. Singles, they're totally lost. They're totally lost. Nowhere to be found.
Right.
There's no reason why Aleister Black isn't somewhere on the Mania card for some kind of a title at this point.
See, I don't even care for a title. Like, he just needs to be on the card. Like, or at least on the card somehow on one of the shows.
If built right, and if they really built him right and put the right creative behind him, he could have been the next Undertaker. He could have been the next Kane. He could have been the next, big man to step in those shoes and, play a dark role. And I feel like they just dropped the ball totally on him. Just totally dropped the ball on him.
Exactly, and it's like, he's very talented, and it's sad that the fact that he's not being shown on TV. Like, people want to see him, like, and I feel like if he wants to leave WWE, I'm fine with it. He needs to go do what Andrade did, because,
exactly. At the end of the day, these people need to get fed. If they're not, they got a job just like me, you, or anybody else. If you ain't getting paid and you ain't, you working your regular job and they're saying, well, we ain't going to use you this week or this week and this week, and, weeks go by and you're not getting paid, you're not getting the limelight, why not leave?
Yeah, there's other places that will give him more options and more time on TV, like NJPW, he could go there. ROH, he can go there. Like, he can even go to Impact.
I mean, the same thing happened with EC3. They kind of just got left in the dust, and then he went to Impact.
Yeah, that pissed me off, because you called him up and then just left him in the dust. Same thing with Eric Young. There was no need to break up CNA at all.
No, I mean, during the pandemic, they dropped the ball on a lot of people. They let a lot of people go that was unnecessary.
Typical thing.
A lot of good tag teams. Good Brothers could have still been a great dominant tag team right now.
Well, they got fucked over.
They did, but, let's face it, Vince is a very powerful man. If he wanted to change that, he could have changed that right away. He could have thrown back a contract and said, hey, you know what? You're rehired. Here you go.
But, hey, it benefited in them anyways, because now, look, they with the Bullet Club, and they about to reform, the whole OG Bullet Club, and it's giving them more time.
Oh, exactly. It's worked out much better for them. They got a better schedule. That's the number one a lot of these people say is, when they get out of the WWE, is they got a better schedule. It's not so 24/7 every single day on the road traveling. I know the pandemic's a little slow, but eventually that's going to be over. There'll be house shows again. There's going to be back on the road, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, everywhere. These people are going to be traveling everywhere again.
Right.
AEW, not so much. They got their one show, their two shows. Their pay-per-views are scattered more. They're not every month.
Yeah, that's a good thing because they have a lot of time to deal with feuds. But the thing what they're lacking at is like building more feuds for the women. Because like this past week, like the Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker was phenomenal. Like that's what you call a banger women's match. Like that match made the standard. But my thing is like, okay, Hikaru Shida has been champion for how long? We get it. But it's like, it's time for her to drop that title.
You know, that's the thing. I mean, I'm all for these women becoming champions like Rio and her. You know, they're great. I get it. The Japanese women division is flourishing. There's a lot of very talented women out there. I just feel like that the American crowd does not connect with them when they're champion. You know, they like Rio, but they can't get behind and really stand with her, you know. But if you have someone like Britt Baker, if you have someone like maybe Chris Stratlander when she comes back, you have one of these other girls that maybe are a little bit more charismatic to the American crowd, maybe they'll, support the women's division a little bit more. You know, when Rio was champion, she was in there, and then we never saw her for months on end.
Yes, and it's like same thing with Hikaru Shida. Like, you barely see her, but it's like she comes out when somebody gets like beat up or something. But it's like, okay, we know your face, but it's like you're not really showing the reason why you champion, and you barely could cut promos.
It's not like someone that it's not like they're trying to build these people up, but it's not like Asuka when she was dominating NXT. Where we would see her every week and, she would face challenges. Like you said, we don't see these people. We see them once in a couple matches, then they're in a segment, they're being attacked, and then we see a match.
Asuka, they've been playing with her. They really had her in the tag title scene. With Charlotte, well, my thing is she didn't defend that world championship in 6 months. Now she's defending it.
I mean, for Christ, she was the female Goldberg in NXT. Undefeated. She should have been, that steam should have progressed when she came into the main roster. Instead, they made a joke of her. They threw her in with, Kairi Sane for a little bit, right?
Yeah, that actually gave Kairi Sane something to do and, put her over.
She was another one that she was top talent in NXT and then just flopped on the main roster. They bring these people up too fast and they got nothing for them.
Shayna, because Shayna should not be tagging with her damn.
Shayna should have been one of the women's champions. To be honest, instead of Charlotte Flair winning the Rumble last year, it should have been Shayna. Shayna should have won the title. It should have went on from there. She should have had her reign. I don't know, what they have against her. Some say it's her look. Some say it's because she's not charismatic enough to be a champion. The fans don't like her, but the fans do like her. They like her brutal style. They like her background, UFC fighting.
Exactly. They were behind her in her reign in NXT, but it got boring after a while. But she was entertaining at least. She gave okay, every match she was in, when she was defending outside, everybody was like, I hope she loses this title. But
it is. They dragged it on, and she should have kind of just put it out there and just kind of moved on, never losing the title, and just went on to the main roster. I think a lot of people at the time also wanted to see her versus Rousey. That would have been a hell of a match.
It's like the Raw Women's Championship went from main event to being a joke after Becky Lynch left. I just feel like they put themselves backed themselves into a wall and they didn't know what to do. Because Becky put the belt on Asuka, and Asuka really did not win it though. So Asuka's really not the champ.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. And, I feel like right now the whole women's division is not just, like I said, not just in AEW, WWE, they're really not doing good anywhere. I mean, Impact's doing okay, but I feel like the other ones, it's just, we're kind of on autopilot for the women's divisions. The stories have just kind of been repeated. We've seen these matches a bunch of times. Outside of, like I said, that Sasha Belair match, the rest of the women's division is just kind of all over the place.
Okay, hold on.
We're still here. I don't know. We're having some technical difficulties. Are you still with us, Mikey Starks?
Yes, I'm with you.
Oh, coolio. We were just having some technical difficulties there. Nothing that
Yeah.
Versace Stone to worry about, though. So we're just shooting the shit here.
Mm-hmm.
And then what do you think about that, though? AEW having a house show on Mania weekend as well now.
Everybody have something. Then Impact got a pay-per-view.
They do. Impact does have a pay-per-view. I mean, Mania weekend's not just about Mania anymore. It's a very big weekend. You know, all the indie stars go down there. They put on tons of shows, one after another, all week long. So, yeah, I'm sure, all the majors are going to throw shows, too. I'm just kind of surprised AEW is doing it. But I guess it's smart. They're doing it Friday. It's against what? SmackDown? It's not your normal Mania weekend. You don't have the Hall of Fame happening over the weekend. You know, it's happening on Wednesday. You don't have the takeover happening Saturday before. You have that happening during the week. You don't have access.
It's just a regular podcast interview. Regular podcast.
You don't have access at all. You don't have them at all, you know, this year. Everything is virtual meet and greets. And Mania is now 2 days. So, you know, going down to Florida, the Mania scene is different. Normally you'd go down for a whole week because there'd be tons of stuff to do. So all there really is to do for WWE is, you know, you got your Raw, your SmackDown, your WrestleMania. You lost out on a lot of the fans. WrestleCon is still running their promotion, you know, limited. I think NWO or some of the NWO members are going to be there. Kevin Nash, Scott Hall. But then outside of that, you have all the indie shows. Hundreds and hundreds of indie shows. It's a pretty big week now for wrestling, whereas before it just used to be WrestleMania only. You know, now more and more people flock to it for other stuff and other wrestling shows.
Not to mention NXT's moving to Tuesdays.
I think that's going to be, you know, the best decision for pro wrestling. I think NXT is going to flourish more. More people are going to watch it, and AEW is going to flourish. I mean, it's not all the fans are not against each other. It's just some of them don't know what to watch, so they just want to be cool and edgy, and they talk shit online. The fact is that if the both shows are on different days, a lot of people are going to watch both of them.
Yeah, and Impact is moving to Thursdays.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest with you, Impact, why, yes, it's a great show, and it's great to watch live. It's on Twitch. And for Majorly, I mean, yes, it's on Access as well. I think more people have access to Twitch than they do that channel, though. You know, and speaking of channels and stuff, I just actually was told today that, you know, there's kind of a little bit of a problem with the Peacock app in Samsung, and a lot of Samsung TVs not working with, doesn't have the Peacock app available.
Peacock. That's the problem with Peacock. They censoring stuff and editing out stuff. And it's sad.
I mean, listen, I get it, okay? I get we're living in these times that, you know, we're now becoming racially aware. The past was wrong. We did wrong things, you know? We might not have known they were wrong, but we did them. I get that. But at the same time, I don't get deleting them. You know, let's put a message. Let's put a warning. This contains insensitive racial footage. You know, it does not represent our current views. I understand getting rid of words, slips, whatever Vince said. I get rid of saying when Booker T said what he said. That's fine. But how do you get rid of whole matches? I don't understand that. You know, that's whole history. You know, not only are you taking a match away from Rowdy Piper that he wrestled in, you know, he's a legend. You're taking out a moment for Bad News Brown, who didn't have many WrestleMania moments. And that was a great match for him. He might have not have won it, but it was a great moment for him to be in front of the crowd at WrestleMania.
It's already heated, bitch.
You know? So that's my thing with getting rid of the matches. That's my thing. And like I said, not being able to watch it. I can watch it on my Xbox, but on my TV, no. And like my friends were saying, they can't watch it on their TV. They have to watch it on their PlayStation. It's just not accessible like the network was.
Wow. Get out.
Have you made the switch over there?
You said, did I make the switch over?
Yeah, to Peacock. Yeah.
No, not yet. Not yet. I'm watching it illegally.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's. I mean, if they're gonna really scrub all the history of the WWE, there's no point in going back to wash down footage. So you might as well just wait, watch the pay-per-views, how you can watch them, and go on to it with there.
Yeah, but like, it's like robbing the Peacock, like, and it makes no type of sense.
I mean, I guess it's big money for Vince, but it's not so much big money for us. You know, we're saving a couple of dollars, but we're not getting a full product. You know, out of the country, I heard that the network runs just fine now.
Yeah, and people, that's what I heard.
I gotta find a way to get a foreign account going, maybe with a VPN or something, you know, so when I log in, I'm not shown in the U.S., maybe I can continue my subscription. That would be great, because honestly, I'd rather pay $10 for the full thing and have something dedicated just to wrestling than...
So exactly, nobody want to watch something that's accurate.
I don't need to watch that. I mean, if I'm going to do that, like I said, I might as well just go back and try to find the VHS copies, pay some money, and buy a VCR and watch them that way, because I don't want to watch matches missing.
Yeah.
You know, and then I have to pay for it too.
Exactly. But we share a subscription, so we could.
You know, so that's the whole thing with the Peacock. I don't know how they're going to do for Mania. It's going to be a lot of traffic for them, you know, within the U.S. Hopefully they don't crash and we're able to watch it continuously.
That's going to be the problem if they do.
Well, it'll be a big problem if they do, because, you know, I mean, outside of the country, yes, it'll be fine for them. And, you know, let's face it now, WWE is a global market. India, huge market for the WWE. As you can see, they threw a lot of money behind getting the great Khali into the Hall of Fame. He wasn't even planned to go into the Hall of Fame.
My question is why? Like, why before later?
I don't even think Vince liked him, to be honest. I don't even know. But I think a lot of money was spent to put him there. There's a lot of money in India and wrestling. As you know, they did that kind of India pay-per-view earlier in the year.
Mm-hmm.
If we didn't have a pandemic, I think they were shifting all their gears to India from, you know, Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, a lot of money's being put behind it. They want one of their own in the Hall of Fame. And I think a big partnership will happen in the future now. WWE will be hosted there. You'll see grand events there in India and so forth. But, yeah, it's all about money. It has nothing.
That's the problem, and that's why people don't really like watching WWE like that.
And they don't take the Hall of Fame serious at all. It's not like a regular sports Hall of Fame where you have feats and athletes. I don't even know what, you know, Khali was okay, but he wasn't that good of a wrestler.
I'm glad RVD is in the Hall of Fame now, and like,
yeah,
it was so nice.
You have these guys that were legends, you know, far before, you know, WWE bought them out. They were great ECW, they were great WCW, they were great before that.
Sorry.
You know, RVD, you know, a lot of people know him for his WWE stuff, but I know him a lot from his ECW work and what he did out there in Philadelphia. Because when ECW went to WWE, I'll face it, I hated it. I didn't watch it. I thought it was watered down shit. And I just refused to watch it, and then just let my earlier memories of ECW be ruined. So I just continued to just pretend like it.
December to Dismember? Horrible.
Yeah. For sure.
Horrible.
I mean, not every pay-per-view in ECW was great, and there was some definitely shitty matches. But if you liked Extreme Wrestling, and you got to remember, back then I was at the right age to be part of it. You know, the Attitude Era, I was at the age where I was the most marketed person. They were marketing, you know, my demographic. Same thing with ECW, my age. They wanted those 17, 18-year-olds to be into this, and that's what we were. As people in high school that's all they talked about was wrestling. Was it WWE, WCW, ECW? Everybody wanted to be like RVD, Sandman, Sabu. People were throwing each other through tables. We had wild times in high school. People telling each other to suck it. You smell what the Rock's cooking. People
the suck it part. people got
pulling
suspended for that.
socks out of their pants thinking it's Mr. Socko. Like, it was wild times back then. It was just crazy pandemonium.
Right.
But we were at, like I said, the right age demographic for the WWE, the marketing, the Attitude Era. They had the right jokes for us. They had everything for us. And then I think it lost, it lost steam as it kept going. Yes, the Ruthless Aggression era was great, but the PG era wasn't so much, and I think a lot of fans fell off of that. And now they're starting to come back to it. Now they're starting to come and watch again and see more of what WWE has to offer us. It's changing again. It's no longer really PG. It's no longer Attitude Era. We got a mix of things going on. A mix of eras, really.
Right. And it's like they want to bring back the non-PG era, but it's like you can't do that now because it's too late.
It is. It is too late. I mean, you got too many people that want things censored. They'll be canceled right away. I mean, if Peacock's already going through censoring, 80s and 90s footage, what are they going to do when they get to the late 90s, the Attitude Era footage? They're going to, really scrub that down. So, I mean, what could they do today if they started with the racy material? Plus, how do fans react? Look how they did the storyline with Lana and Bob Lashley last year. And the year before. People hated that. The Twitter fans cried every Monday night about it.
I didn't cry, but I was just like, it was pointless. It was stupid.
It made Bobby look stupid. It made Lana look like a whore. It made Rusev look dumb too. He ended up ultimately leaving anyways, but it made everybody just embarrassing.
Like, they don't come up with official storylines. They just do things just for entertainment.
Look at Retribution. I mean, it was clearly an attack on, what was going on in society with, people protesting. Because Vince threw that together overnight. Let's have some people protest and destroy the ring. And they never went in any direction. First it was on Mondays and Fridays. Then it was just on Mondays. Then it was just like, okay, they're going to be a jobber team. Exactly. But they tied in the old hacker Ali thing when he was the hacker, and they brought him into it and had him be the leader. And, he really didn't fit as the leader of Retribution. Ali should have been on his own.
Turned on.
He should be on his own as a star already.
My thing is, where they fucked up with Mustafa Ali was when they let Brock Lesnar get that briefcase. That was supposed to be Ali's briefcase, not his. And I still say that to this day. They really messed him up after that.
Yeah, I can see that.
That was his moment.
I can see that. He should have just grabbed it, had it. That's the thing. Lesnar stole the shine of that. He's basically has been the Hogan of the generation, always stealing the limelight and his shine light from the people that need it the most. And Ali needed it right then and there. You are right about that.
Yeah, he had it. He actually had it. And then Brock Lesnar comes out and then just takes the briefcase. It was, stupid. And then Brock Lesnar did the same thing with Ricochet. And that's what made him, and he hasn't been the same since.
That's the thing. That's what's that's what I hate to see is when talent gets a little bit buried on by major stars that have already had 20 years of good wrestling. Lesnar's been around for almost 20 years. He's already had multiple titles, multiple wins. He beat the Undertaker's streak. What more does this guy really need, for success? Let's give it to some of these younger people.
It still pisses me off. Because I am a big Undertaker fan. Everybody knows this. And it's that really pissed me off. Y'all didn't let this man retire with his streak. Y'all let him just go without nothing. Come on now.
It's that guy. I mean, I think it was kind of one of those things that, looking back at it, was very unnecessary. Undertaker could have walked out of every WrestleMania undefeated and retired. I don't see that as being an issue. If Brock wanted to beat him, he could have beat him at SummerSlam. That would have been fine. Nobody would have cared.
My thing is, it was why it had to be him though? If they were going to do that, they should just let Bray Wyatt do that since now he's the Fiend. So it would have played
exactly. Put somebody really over. By that point, Lesnar was already over. He didn't need the push.
I'd rather Bray Wyatt had into his streak. So then it was okay, now you're passing it over to me. Now I'm about to become the Fiend, and now I'm about to put my whole character over because I beat someone who was unbeatable. Like, it would make sense.
It would. It really would. And I think if that happened, the Fiend would have been, even more of a character. A lot of people take it now as a joke. He lost a little steam as we went along,
Because they did him dirty. Like,
they did. The Goldberg thing, messed him up.
That was Goldberg's fault because he didn't want to shell, and he didn't want to do what was said in the script. Basically,
He didn't think that the Fiend was a good role model for kids. And who the hell is Goldberg to say that? But anyways, that's neither here nor there. They screwed him up a little bit there. But then, they got he made some steam back, and he's coming back. This Randy Orton battle and being burnt. It's kind of cool. It shows some continuity in it. Sometimes they don't always do that in WWE. This time they do. And Alexa Bliss can go anywhere. It's opening her up. She was pretty stale for a while.
Right. And it's like, at least she fits the character anyway. So.
She does. She definitely does. I don't know what will happen after this. I believe the Fiend will win. I don't know where he'll go from here. What he'll do from here. I don't think he needs to be near the title again. That should have never been the purpose of the Fiend to be near the title. He didn't need it. He was just picking and choosing who he wanted to destroy, and that was fine. He didn't need to be in that limelight of having to defend a championship belt. That was not a character for the Fiend.
I mean, the Fiend, like, the whole persona about the Fiend is basically getting back at people who did him wrong in the past. So it's like Randy Orton was one of them. He burned down his freaking house.
Exactly. Randy Orton should be like number one on his list.
Like, so it's like every part of the story comes from things that happened in the past. Same thing. That's one thing I was like, they should have the Fiend versus The Undertaker. But
that's what was so great about the cinematic match last year with the
AJ Styles.
Cena. They had history. And I hope in the future with, fans coming back and live wrestling coming back, I do hope they continue to do cinematic matches. Because, it can add another element. I mean, look how good that Darby Allin cinematic match was. Almost nearly perfect. It felt like I was watching a movie. That's what I want to feel sometimes. It doesn't always have to be in the ring. They can do that with The Fiend. They can do that with Randy Orton. They can do that with these guys.
That's what they should have did for Mania this year. But they didn't have enough time to do that because they waited.
They did. They winged it a little bit. They didn't know what they really wanted this year, and they kind of just, threw everything together. They let us buy tickets almost, 3 weeks before Mania? They released the tickets?
Yeah, and they just now putting the whole card together at the moment.
And even then, it can change again, You never know what can happen in this world. Somebody gets sick, 3 people get out. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that someone's not going to be healthy for Mania, and the whole card could just be changed or something else can happen.
Right, I'm praying that the card stays the same, and I just hope Charlotte does not get added to none of those women's matches.
Yeah, I don't know if she'll be ready to wrestle. I mean, yeah, she'll be physically, better from having COVID, hopefully. But I think she'll still be fatigued, It takes a lot out of you being sick now, with this.
But I feel like if she really, wanted to do it, they would let her do it.
If they put her into that match with Sasha and
Bianca,
then I think there would be a meltdown on the internet. I think a lot of people would be canceling their Peacock subscription now. And
if they add her to the Rhea and Asuka match too,
nobody wants to see that again. They've already seen her wrestle way too many times. I mean, Flair's a great wrestler, don't get me wrong. I am a fan of Charlotte Flair. I just don't like her being shoved down our throats. She doesn't need to be champion again. She doesn't need to be in the limelight. She could have a nice storyline with somebody else. I was hoping that she would have a good storyline with Lacey Evans. But obviously Lacey's pregnant and, that's not going to happen now. But maybe when she comes back, they will have a nice storyline and put on a good match. Maybe Charlotte will be able to put Lacey over.
Charlotte don't even sell for people. She don't put nobody over.
No, she doesn't, but she's like her father, but...
And that's the thing. Like, she said she want to step out of her father's shadow, but she's still doing the same thing.
She's the same damn person, just a female.
And that's the problem. Like, and it's not the fact that people hate her because she's very good talent, but it's the fact that she's always put in the championship.
It is. I mean, and that's like how, it's how it's always been in WWE, though. Starting back when Hulk Hogan was thrown in the limelight every chance they could possibly get.
She done.
And then, you had Bret Hart doing the same, Shawn Michaels doing the same, Triple H doing the same, Cena, Lesnar all the time. You had all these people. They do it all the time. They pick their favorites. They push them until they're hated. And then, they wonder why they're being hated on.
Yeah, it's because... And Charlotte got more hate because of the fact that she was added to that Becky versus Ronda. The Becky versus Ronda feud was great. That should have been one-on-one, period. And I say that to this day, it should have been one-on-one. Should have been. Definitely. Charlotte not only ruined a good feud, she also ruined Asuka. Asuka should have been the one defending at Mania against Charlotte if that was the case.
Should have been, yeah. Right.
And it was like you just took the title of her just for you to be in that triple threat match, just for you to lose it. Like it didn't really make no type of sense because everybody knew who was going to win.
Exactly. But I don't think they're going to add her. I think we're going to be saved this year from that. I think, she'll sit it out this year. I think the card is pretty solidified. It will be what it is. Maybe we see some surprises. Maybe we see some guest appearances. I don't know. Besides
maybe some stipulations.
Yeah, we might see some stipulations. I don't think we're going to see too many changes. Never know. They have been known to scrap ideas last moment, especially if the shit gets leaked.
Because I feel like one match that deserves a stipulation is Big E versus Apollo Crews.
Yeah,
that deserves a stipulation. And Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, that deserves a stipulation as well.
And, that would be a good match up too. I like, the undercard doesn't look bad this year. Like I said, Mania looks good. For what they have and what they have to work with in the year we've had, it looks good. I think it won't be the worst Mania. I think fans will be happy. I mean, sure, there'll be people that are going to complain, but I think they'll be overall pleased with what they throw to us this year.
I'll be mad. Like, I'm not going to complain, but the only time I'll be mad is they have Bianca lose. That's it. Because
if you have Bianca lose, it's kind of like, what's the point?
Like, what's the point of her winning the Rumble and having this big ass push and then her lose? I mean, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, there's things they can do that could ruin it, but for the most part, I think we'll just be happy with what they have to show. We're just about out of time though tonight on VSW. We do thank you, Mikey Starks, for coming on the show, and we hopefully will get you again. How can people follow you on Twitter? What's your Twitter handle so people out there can follow you?
At Mikey Starks 1. That's my Twitter handle.
Sweet. Go out, hit the follow button on Twitter. Follow Mikey. He's a great wrestling fan, positive Twitter person. Always supportive. Definitely, I thank you for having us on the show. Have a good night, Mike. Have a good night. And again, we'll reach out. We'll have you come on again, maybe after Mania, and let's talk about what you thought.
All right. Got you.
Have a good night.
You too.
And there you have it, folks. Mikey Starks. Again, go out, give him a follow. He's a good guy. One of the good people on Twitter. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this special episode of VSW. Again, I'm your boy, the Versace Stunner. Have a good night. Versace out.